It's nice to be honest.
Welcome everyone to this Masterton District Council candidate information evening. My name's Harriet Kennedy, I'm the Deputy Electoral Officer here. Just got a couple of housekeeping things to run through. The fire exits or emergency exits are immediately across the hall and down the stairs, and another set of stairs at the back. Assembly points way down the other end of the car park. Toilets are across the hall, and we're being live streamed. I'm going to hand over to Kim Fell, who's our Chief Executive, Masterton District Council, and then Kim will hand over to Warwick to talk about all things election. Thanks.
Thanks, Harriet. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. I'm Kim Fell, the Chief Executive here of the Masterton District Council. It's great to have a good turnout of new elected members, hopefully, and a number of other elected members who might get voted back in. Yeah, so maybe a new mayor, who knows. Look, before we get into all the detail of the local body elections with Warwick, I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of Masterton District Council and what we are responsible for, what our elected members will also be responsible for, and the likely challenges that you'll face over the next triennium. Okay, a little bit about Masterton District Council. We're a very small to medium-sized provincial council. We have 132 full-time equivalent staff, delivering services through a bit of a hybrid model, so meaning that some of our services are delivered in-house and a number of them are delivered out or outsourced, such as parks maintenance, the swimming pool or rec centre, and some of our roading contracts and that. So our staff operate on around about 4 sites across the district. We have up here listed Queen Street as our main sort of customer service centre. Waiata House, this building, is our I suppose back office functions that we operate out of. We have the library and archive, but we also have Kaituna, our water plant. We have a few people working out of there, and very shortly, and also we have the temporary animal shelter. Our staff are divided into functional sort of portfolios, or our leaders. We have 4 GMs and a chief advisor. Matt is our chief advisor over here. They report through to me, and you'll see a number of those GMs attending our council meetings to support their staff who are presenting papers through to council. We're responsible for many core services, including infrastructure and that, and they're some of the things that shape the daily lives of people living within our community, from fixing potholes through to planning future growth. Your decisions as councillors will directly impact your community through the agreed services that we offer. Operationally, running our councils a little bit like managing several small businesses regulated through various pieces of legislation, including the Local Government Act 2002. The work we do is driven primarily through central government, and most importantly by our community. Our priorities are dictated through strategies and plans that we seek community feedback through, and that's part of our long-term plan. They're regularly revisited too, so every 3 years we do a 10-year LTP. And so you'll be deciding as councillors on how we shape our community through the 2027 to 37 long-term plan. As a councillor, you'll set direction, but you don't run the operations, unfortunately. That's up to me. You delegate that through to me. So your role as elected members, you only have one employee, which is the Chief Executive, and then I employ the staff on behalf of the council. Your decisions need to balance, again, the community needs with long-term planning and financial responsibility. Once elected, you'll represent the community views and make decisions for the entire community of Masterton, so not just those people who elected you through to office. You'll be supported in your role daily through my staff, through council officers, and they'll do a lot of the research for you on your behalf to be able to make sure that you can make some informed decisions before we also have all the information available to make informed decisions. And it's important to note that only elected members get to vote also. So it's not me. I implement the decisions of council, and council officers provide that expert opinion so that that you can make decisions. The decision is collective responsibility also. So even if you don't necessarily agree with it, where it lands is the decision of council, and it sits firmly on the shoulders of councillors, and it's my role to implement all of those decisions. Our changing landscape, so being a councillor is incredibly complex. Central government continues to create change that impacts our council and the decisions we make at a local level. Recent reforms are reshaping local government, and this government's emphasis is on doing the basics brilliantly. This means roads and pipes, waters and waste, and being accountable to our ratepayers. We're yet to see with all the reforms underway, how they all turn out, but essentially this is what we'll be focusing on in the next triennium, essentially what's coming down the pipe. We have RMA reform, local water done well, back to basics, I suppose, through core services, and the removal of the 4 well-beings. Work underway, so many of our bigger ticket projects that we've kicked off, so they'll continue or they'll be completed during your tenure as a councillor. There are very few projects, a few of these projects are, we'll touch on here also. So one of them is a town hall, so council plans to demolish the existing town hall and the municipal building and build a new multi-purpose town hall for a total council budget of 25 million. The demolition resource consent was granted in June 2025 with work underway to meet the consent conditions. Another project we have there is the library. So in 2024, council resolved to upgrade and expand the library at 10.75 million, including essential repairs. I mean, the library's the same since 1984 when I was a little kid sitting on the mat, so maybe a bit earlier than that. So it's well overdue to be serviced and upgraded. So that'll involve obviously improving the space, looking at programs, classrooms and offices. Some of our images were released in May, architectural images, so they're available for you to have a look at. And we'd look to move our current library to a temporary space, which is the My Ride building next to Burger King, across the road from McDonald's there, or Animates, in November. And then work will begin at the end of this year to improve the library. The animal shelter is another one that'll be completed in about probably 8 to 12 weeks. That's on Namutawa Road, which will be really good because we have a temporary shelter at the moment that's woefully inadequate and needs, we're limping along with that. So having the new shelter up and running is going to be really important. Water resilience is another area of council focus. We have 2 LTP projects. A larger raw water storage facility, or ponds at Kaituna. It's around about $8.4 million, I think. And then a new treated water reservoir we have budgeted around about 7.9 million. We're also charging for water and volumetric charging for water in 2026 to help manage our urban use and also to identify leaks within the network. The other thing we've got up there is spatial plans. So this will guide the growth by assessing infrastructure development in our area, in our district, looking at priorities, things around climate adaptation and resilience, and looking at water security. So that plan will decide, I suppose, where new subdivisions go, what our district might look like, where we want to see some industrial growth. All of that will form part of that spatial plan. And that engagement will happen near the end of this year and will be something that the new council will decide upon. The other thing is Hood. So it's a bit of a project for me to try and make Hood wash its face, essentially, and pay its own bills. At the moment, the council subsidises Hood quite considerably, the aerodrome there. We had an investment of around about 17 million, of which 10 million came from the government, around about 7 from council. We've spent about 5.9, I think, million in establishing an improved runway and infrastructure out there for the future development. So that's a space that we're looking at now that we'll be bringing back to council, opportunities around development of hangars and other commercial sort of options and that. We're also looking to be certified very shortly as a CAA certified airport, which means that we can have scheduled flights come in and out of the aerodrome, which are under 30 seats. Our next one here, a few of the challenges that we have ahead. These are the things that you'll face as elected members. It'll inform our work programs that you'll collectively set as part of the next LTP. So all councils are faced with ageing infrastructure, climate pressures and rising costs, all while keeping rates affordable. You'll set the direction for that as councillors. We have climate impacts facing our urban and our rural communities, and you'll have a community who'll have expectations that they want to see met across the district, but many of those expectations will come at a cost. So there'll be some challenges every elected member faces, and they'll need to balance that as part of their role as governors. Another important discussion point will be, no doubt, what comes next, or the next tronium around amalgamation. Local water done well means for us as a council that 40% of our revenue will move out and will shift across to the new entity, and that'll happen essentially within the next 2 years. We're looking at a couple of options. One is an in-house model, and one is a model where we deliver that through a shared agreement with multiple councils. So both of those at the moment we're weighing up pros and cons on the benefits. We need to obviously deliver a water service delivery plan to the Department of Internal Affairs by the 3rd of September. But again, what that means is that all that revenue that we took for water gets ring-fenced and moved across to the new entity, which means that we need to be a lot smarter at what we do as a council. We'll have to give ourselves a bit of a haircut and also stop a number of services, I believe. So there'll be some of the decisions that the council will need to consider in the next while as to affordability. All exciting stuff, isn't it? Haven't put you off, I hope. So there's a lot to learn about Masterton District Council, more that I can really explain in the short time that I've got here. I invite you to have a look at our website. So very shortly, I think we'll have the Chief Executive's, what do we call it there? It's the pre-election report that'll be up there. Thanks very much. On there, and that's a bit of a non-political view of where everything's at from the council perspective, what the challenges are, and what you'll face as elected members coming into the council. So there'll be quite a bit of information on there. There's a lot to juggle. I hope you enjoy reading, because we have lots of reports. Yesterday's council meeting, one, even though it was the annual plan, with 359 pages to read or to go through. So there's a lot of reading, which people ask me what book I like to read, and I don't like reading because I spend all day reading policies and documents and books, so that's not something that I do in my downtime. So look, it's great for you all to be here today. Hopefully, if there's anything that I can help you with, please sing out. More than happy to provide you with any information you need to support you deciding to stand for council. And thank you very much for coming along, and hopefully we'll see how it all works out. Yeah, thank you. I'll pass you back over to Warren.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Harriet. As Kim said, my name is Warwick. I'm not too good at standing behind lecterns, so I'm going to move around and chat to you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Right in the back, David? Great. All right, while Harriet's getting up my presentation, CE once recently introduced me as a career bureaucrat, which I thought maybe sounded a tad boring. But I think with a snazzy jacket and a pair of Maya shoes, you won't argue that I'm not that boring. I love my beloved orange pin, so I'm going to stand by that and talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Here's the cricket.
It's on the, just on the left.
Is catching my voice on the live stream okay?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Right, I've got 50 slides to go through. I love PowerPoint. I'm going to go through every slide and read every word very slowly. It's not going to be death by PowerPoint. It comes already covered a few of my slides at the beginning, so I'm going to skip through them pretty quick. Might take about an hour. Keen to take questions as we go. Very just sing out with anything as we go. I want to make sure you go away with all your questions answered about the council election and election land. All right? So as Kim said, I'm Council's electoral officer, external electoral officer. I work for lots of councils. Harriet is Council's in-house deputy, who's the main face for dealing with nominations as they come in and the nuts and bolts of the election on the ground. There are all of the councils that I work for. I'm contracted for 47, electoral officer for 44. I live in Tauranga. Been in council elections a long time, since 1986. Done about 900 council elections. Done this presentation about 300 times. So I can do it on my sleep. We do lots of other elections, in addition to council elections, in the EV space, teachers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, school board of trustees, Fonterra, agri sector, all that sort of stuff. And all of our voting papers go to our processing centre in Christchurch. Why does the Election Commission not get involved in council elections? Because they don't do postal voting. The Electoral Commission only do parliamentary elections and to provide us with the electoral roll for our election. The Electoral Commission doesn't have any jurisdiction over council elections in any way. Same with the Ombudsman, who has no say over the electoral officer or council elections. So there's no point anyone complaining to the Ombudsman about things that I might decide. Same with Lagoima. I'm external to council, work for a private company, not covered by Lagoima. Having said that, our election process is entirely transparent. Everything's out in the open, there's no conspiracies anywhere. If anybody wants to know anything, just ask and I'll tell you. But I do answer to a district court judge. It's the only person that can direct me what to do. Righto, what's the government about? Kim's already covered most of this, so I'll skip through it pretty quick. As he said, big, complex organisation with more than 125 pieces of legislation that impact on council. Complex, big business. What's your annual turnover, Kim?
85 million.
85 mil, and I think you said 132 FTEs before. Lots of stuff going on. And therefore, as a result, it is a big deal standing for council. It's not a 5-minute job. As Kim said, dealing with your agendas, 200, 300 pages, not a 5-minute job. Running for council, being on council, complex business, lots of stuff to do, takes up lots of time. Not to be taken lightly. Serious role with a big impact on your local community. Check out the Canada Handbook over here and the LGNZ documents about that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say that it's not always a bed of roses. In this day and age, as you know, sometimes things can get a bit hairy on social media. There's been a few instances of elected members and mayors having had people turn up on their doorstep causing problems. Public safety is a big issue. I don't want to be in Debbie Downer here, but you've got to be aware that these things could happen. And social media can get a bit testy. So be prepared. Some simple things about that. Maybe when you're campaigning, have an email address that's not your normal email address, campaign one. Maybe use a burner phone that's not your normal cell phone number. When you go to candidate events or meetings, work out where the exits are, your de-escalation points. What you would do if you were thinking your public safety was being compromised. And if you really need to, you can always go to the police. And because of that, we don't put candidate physical addresses on our voting documents and on council's website. Okay. These are things the elected member does, and as Kim said, only employ the CE, and then Kim looks after 130 odd council staff. Big picture, strategy not potholes. Easier said than done sometimes. These are some of the core competencies that are good to have, not the end of the world. But, as Kim said, speed reading, quite handy. Maybe do a speed reading course, because you're going to read lots of documents. Great listening skills, and being able to build a consensus around the council table. Thinking district-wide, not just from a patch or from a ward, thinking district-wide. Having public speaking skills, handy but not essential. Once you've been around the council table for a few months, you'll soon pick up the public speaking skills pretty quick. Kim might like to comment on this slide. There it is. What it's all about. Pretty much a meeting a week. Ebbs and flows. Long-term plan time, maybe 30, 40 hours a week. Other times, maybe 10, 20 hours a week. As we said, lots of reports, lots of documents. Harriet, the agendas, they're all provided electronically. So elected members, they have a laptop or
Yep.
council provided laptop?
Yep.
No agendas printed? Okay, everything electronic. Flexible working hours, sometimes in the evenings, weekends. Be prepared for that. Me, pretty much full-time job, councillors, 20, 30 hours a week. Any questions about all of that? Great.
I've been informed that you can fit it in around your existing job, so you can be committed to the Wednesday and still have your otherwise job, but it'll be part-time. So in practicality,
Hard
it's
to do.
flexible, but it'll be hard, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's quite exhausting.
Yeah.
So normally we allocate Wednesdays as our council days, so that's
So
the
it
sort
gets
of main
blocked
day
out,
that
right?
we
Yeah.
schedule everything so that, that it can work for people
Mhm.
that have other jobs, so, yeah.
Okay.
You can work around it.
Yeah. Cool.
It's not in time to read 359 pages somewhere.
You do indeed.
So that means you're going to be reading your agendas on a Sunday,
On a Sunday night, yeah.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Might take more than just a Sunday night.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday night.
Yeah.
Right? Everything.
Yeah, big deal sometimes. But as I say, ebbs and flows, sometimes big, sometimes not.
It does peak and yeah, yeah.
Peaks and troughs.
Okay, peak and troughs.
Happy with that, Kim?
Yeah,
Good?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Good questions. That's what the remuneration is. Set by the REM authority. Will change after the election. Increase. Some allowances to travel, a laptop, of course, childcare, if appropriate. Remember, elected members are not staff members. You've got to look after your own ACC, GST, all that stuff. Tax. Not council employees. Do that?
Yeah, so just on the councillor one, the 35,000, that's the bare minimum that we can pay. So at the moment, our councillors are receiving around about 53,000 without any further responsibilities. If you have a responsibility as a chairing a committee, you'll get a further increase. If you're the chair of the grants committee, as an example, that'll be additional. So it's not worked out until after the council decides what sort of committees you might form, and then from that it's divvied up accordingly. The money's the money, you can't give back the money essentially. It's quite an odd situation, isn't it, really, that it's set by the remuneration authority.
You can give it to charity.
Yeah, that's right. The mayor's salary has also increased in the last day. So it's about 143,000 at the moment. Yeah, so that's, we just received notification of that.
Right.
They're gross
figures.
Yes, they're gross. There's no holiday pay, there's no sick pay, there's no annual leave.
As you say, we're self-employed.
That's right.
Oh, so it's like if you're a sole trader or a contractor.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
And you pay your own ACC?
Yep. That's the one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In regards to the other roles, and you talked about chairing other roles, how does that work at the end of when the election happens? Is all of those roles, like the chairs and all the rest of it, go back into the pool and then everybody resets and determines who those roles are
So the committee structure is set for the council's term.
Yeah.
And
then it
chairperson to
expires.
when the election happens, new council,
Refresh.
start again. Might be a different committee structure. It's up to the new council and the mayor to decide that and put in place in the new term.
So those roles negotiated or appointed? For those
Appointed.
Negotiated,
Three or
I
four
guess,
people
with
wanted the same role.
the mayor. Yeah, you negotiate that. Depends. People involved. Questions, though? Thank you. Okay, a few things about the election detail. My role under the legislation, local electoral act, local electoral regulations, very prescriptive. It's all about me ensuring a level playing field between all the candidates. What I don't do is get involved in the campaigning space. I don't care about what candidates might say about the council or about each other. I have a sphere of caring. Campaigning is outside it. If someone says nasty things about you, and you ask me about it, I'll say, who cares? I will, however, deal with issues that are breaches of the legislation, which I'll tell you a little bit later, and I'll pass them to the police. So here are the key dates, key slide, lock these ones away, because they're very important. Candidate briefing day today, nominations open next Friday. Not tomorrow, next Friday. Close Friday, 1 August, 12 noon. Not 12:01. Come to that shortly. And then, of course, the voting period, 9 September to 11 October. Longer voting period this time, 10 days more than what it has been in the past. Voting papers will be out there for about a month. Voting period was increased to allow the postal system to do what it needs to do, because we all know it's been slowly degrading. In Council's inaugural meeting, this stage planned for Wednesday, 29th of October, then followed by quite an in-depth induction period. So what are we talking? November, we're pretty full on for a newly elected member.
And just on that note, well, those inductions, it won't be just a Wednesday, it could be 3 days in a row.
That's right, yeah.
It's
So
not
that
just the
first
Wednesday.
month or two, and getting up to speed, there'll be a wheelbarrow of documents that you'll need to get across. We have
Print it out.
lots of briefings, an enormous amount of briefings, and just getting you up to speed and understanding how it all works. It takes a long time. It's not quick to learn how to, all the wheels of how council works and all the rules, and it's like turning a bit of a Titanic at times, because we have so many processes that we must follow that we can't take shortcuts. And so, yeah.
There's the LGNZ seminars as well, isn't there, that they run?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
training.
professional development too that you can look at. So through, like Local Government New Zealand, the webinars and all sorts that you can access to understand. There's a mayor's school, so you send the mayor who's elected away for a couple of days. Even if they're a seasoned mayor, they can go away for a couple of days and learn what it's all about to chair and to run a council.
Indeed. Okay, nomination process. You guys have been across this, you'll know what's involved, but these are the elections that are up for grabs in your community with the number of electors on the roll out to the right-hand side. Just over 20,000. You're at large, 2 wards, and Community Trust, Trust, Trimble Foundation, and GW, which is STV, councils and all the other ones that FPP. Box. Okay, this presentation will go on council's website. Remember that council's order of candidates is alphabetical. One of the few councils in the country that is alphabetical, actually. Most are random.
By the first name or second?
Sorry? Second, surname. Alphabetical on surname. And GW is random. So that means on your voting papers at home, the candidates for the GW election will be jumbled up. And every voting paper will be different. Also, you've got Māori ward polls. 2 in your neck of the woods. 1 for the council, 1 for the regional council. On the same voting paper. And that is the wording of the question. I vote to keep the Māori ward. I vote to remove the Māori ward. Required by legislation. Binding on council for the period 2028 to 2034, not 2025 to 2028. So there is an election on the voting paper for the Māori ward councillor for the next 3 years after that, subject to that poll. Get confusing, but this is what it is. Part of the coalition agreement. This is why we're in this space. Yeah,
Is that going to be on the same paper?
same paper.
So you just tick for mayor and other
Yep.
stuff, and then that's
So it'll be
going
the
to
mayor, the election for the mayor on one column, then at-large councillors, then the ward, then the Māori ward poll, then the Trust and Trust ones, and then GW, and the GW poll, which will be on the other side.
And sorry, who's promoting this information to our constituents?
Who's promoting it?
Like, are we going to start talking about that? Like, is the Masterton District Council going to start?
Yep, so we
promoting
have, well, even of course, people
I was going to
so
say, the billboard will be going up shortly, and then the front of the voting envelope will also have the information on it, and then there's a page on our website as well. But we're a little bit, obviously we can tell people it's happening, we can't say much more.
Or
about
just like it's coming because if not, you know.
Council has to be politically neutral.
I mean, just letting people, I understand that, just letting people
Promoting it.
know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's coming because people know it's coming, but they don't know when.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some radio advertising running, and we'll do a bit on our radio show about it as well. And then obviously working with Larissa and folks to also spread the word that way.
So in maintaining that neutrality, is it okay to advocate for keeping it as a potential candidate?
Yep.
Because I've gone a little early and hard
Yep.
and found there's a lot of, well, you can't say it, but there are people out there and it's like, wow, it's like a real eye-opener. So,
Yep, so
Hence
that's
the question of whether, who's responsible
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
ensuring people know
So the council has to be politically neutral.
and how it might.
Offer, encourage people which way to vote. But as candidates, you can say and do whatever you like. You can voice your own opinion, you can tell people how you think they should vote, you can do what you want
Okay.
as candidates.
No.
It's not the council.
Right, yes, okay. Yes.
Great questions. Okay, nomination process, as I said, closes 12 noon, Friday, 1 August. Not 12:01. Please do not leave lodging your nominations till the last minute. You get sick of me saying this. Many people do. In many cases around the country where someone's come in at 10 to 12 thinking all things are great, put in their nomination, their nominator's not on the roll. Too late. Can't have time to get it fixed. Too late, you're not a candidate. A high-profile candidate in Chicago 2022, an ex-MP who did her campaigning nice and early, all sorts of stuff in the media saying how great she was. Standing for council, rocked up, called to 12, nominated, not a candidate. Grumpy. Not a candidate. Make sure you check it out early. If you're unsure, see Harriet, catch up with her and say, double check, your nominator and seconders on the roll. Do you have to provide evidence of New Zealand citizenship? You've got to be a citizen to be an elected member. Not a permanent resident, you've got to be a citizen, provide evidence of that. Come into the council office here, you can bring it in your hot little hand, that's all good. If you do leave it till the last minute, if you're inside the door, the front door of the council building, your nomination paper in your hot little hand, when Harriet is there listening to the pips on the radio, on the national program, when it goes ding for midday, if you're in the door, great. She'll process that and everything's okay, you'll be a candidate. If you're outside the door, standing on the footpath, too late. Happens. Just the same as if you were emailing it. 80% of our candidates email their nominations. If you send it in at 11:55, or as someone did in Tyrone last year, sent their nomination in at 11:58. Time it gets through cybersecurity, council's email server, and turns up in Harriet's email box. Turned up, in that case, the council at 12:01. Too late. Not a candidate. Too late. Not the time you send it, the time we receive it. As we all know, sending something by email doesn't turn up straight away. Give it a bit of time. Remember, you can have an affiliation on the voting papers, the voting documents, which can be a tagline, slogan, can also be independent, but can be pretty much anything like completely independent. Truly, madly, always independent. More democracy, less bureaucracy. Rates control, whatever you like. As long as it's no more than 38 characters, including a space. You can also use your commonly used name. Doesn't have to be your official name. You know, Edward, Ted, Martin, Marty. We've got a candidate in Ruapehu whose nickname that he has on the voting documents is Rabbit, because that's what everybody knows him for. Just whatever you know. Any questions about that? You do have to state on the nomination paper if you are standing in any other elections, and you can stand in other elections. You can stand for the mayor, you can stand for the ward, you can stand for the community trust, you can stand for Carterton District Council. I had a gentleman at the top of the South Island last time who stood for the mayoralty in 6 councils. $200 every time, and on each voting document it said, I am also standing for the mayor of... Came last in every election. It's okay.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
$200.
He stood the previous time for the mayoralty of Nelson and Tasman with a view that he would get elected and make them amalgamate. Grand plan. Didn't get elected, but he could. Someone could stand here for the 3 councils on the basis of let's amalgamate. No problem. Been done before. And of course you have to state whether you live in the area in which you're standing. those things go on top of the profile statement. I'll show you what it looks like a bit later. Not part of your 150 words.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So, do you have to choose which one you because there's options, obviously, and there's the at-large, and then there's the other one, and then there's the multi-ward.
Yeah, so you can't stand for more than one ward.
Right, gotcha.
So you can't stand for at-large and the Māori ward. You've got to choose one. But if you stand for the ward and the mayor, and you get elected as mayor, then you are the mayor. You come out of the election for the ward. You don't have a choice. The higher office takes precedence. Okay. Here's the nomination paper over here on the table. Back of it, bit here, where you send it to, Harriet's email address, and the details of where you pay your $200 deposit. As I said before, you've got to provide evidence in New Zealand citizenship, birth certificate, citizenship certificate, passport. You can't stand for the council and regional council at the same time. If you've got an interest, you or your partner has an interest in a contract with council for more than $25,000 a year, you've got to get approval from the Office of the Auditor General to be a candidate before you become a candidate, not after. Remember, you can't change your mind after close nominations. Stand for the Māori ward. You don't have to be on the Māori roll. Be on the general roll. Anywhere in the country. And vice versa. But your nominator and seconder have to be on the roll in the area that you're standing in. If you're standing in the Māori ward, nominator and seconder have got to be on the roll in the Māori ward. Standing for the mayoralty, nominator and seconder just got to be on the roll in the district. Same for at large. That's what trips people up. Not being in a different ward, different role. So that's why we say check it out. Remember, you can't withdraw your nomination after the close of nominations. You can't wait till nominations close, look at the list of candidates and go, oh no, I don't want to be here. Bring me up on a Monday morning and go, can I please withdraw? No, you can't. Last time I had 13 people ring me on a Monday from around the country going, I don't really want to do this anymore. You can't. You can before closing nominations, not afterwards. Unless it's on grounds of medical incapacity. It does happen from time to time. You'll probably remember this a couple of elections ago where there was a lady in South Y who had a stroke a couple of days before closing nominations. And on grounds of medical incapacity. True. A few hoops to jump through. That's the only way you can withdraw. If you decide you don't want to be there, you can do a don't vote for me campaign. Just been done before. But no guarantees it'll work. Sometimes doing that gives you more attention. Profile statements, 150 words. 150 words about you and what you're standing for. Not about someone else. Not about the CE. Not about the election officer. About you and what you bring to stand for the council. 150 words max, not 151.
Sorry to interrupt, but a question that came to mind back a slide. If you stand for and are elected into the role of mayor and then decide on the day that you don't want to be the mayor, even though you've been elected into it, can you withdraw then?
Nope. Well, you can.
Or you're stuck.
You can, but it causes a by-election. So once the result is declared, you're it.
Yep.
And if you throw your toys, by-election. I'm quite keen on that idea. Of course,
They're expensive.
they're expensive. Great business for me, but not too good for the council.
Good for the rate.
Happened last time in 2 places. Someone threw their toys with the by-election. Happens. 150 words People get creative by putting hyphens between words that shouldn't be hyphened, and I'll unhyphen them. I'll check those. People will be creative with acronyms. That's okay. Phone number, one word. Web address, one word. Facebook link, one word. 150 words max. If you're just over, I'll probably look at it and do that. I am to I'm, I have to hide to I've sort of thing to try and sneak it under 150.
So you edit all profiles?
Sorry?
You edit all profiles?
I don't edit them all, I'll look at them, and if they're just a bit over, then I'll
So
have
you
a
do
crack
it.
at it and let the candidate know.
Mm.
Okay?
That's a huge job.
It is when I'm dealing with 2,400 candidates
Yeah,
across
that's
the
what I was
country.
just doing my son's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the job. I get pretty good at reading profiles. Electronically. Not too keen on handwritten ones, because then I've got to retype them. My typing's not too flash. You don't want that. Preferably electronic, but not a PDF. Hard cut and paste from PDF in the body of the email or a separate Word doc. No fancy formatting, no bolding, no caps, no speech marks, no italics. Nothing fancy, just straight, good, simple text.
Times Roman. Just kidding. Arial, sorry.
Courier.
Korea.
I actually think they are
Calligraphy.
printed in Arial,
Arial's good.
but doesn't
Easy
matter.
on the eye.
Whatever it is, we'll deal with it. It's not my job to check out what you put in your profiles is true and correct. You're telling bookies, the voting populace will decide. Not me. You'll be surprised what people put in there, and you'll be surprised what people then get found out about. But it is what it is. Photos. Taken within the last 12 months. And yes, my photo's taken in the last 12 months. Not. If you give us a photo to Harriet and she thinks that it doesn't really look like what you look like, then we'll have a chat. But head and shoulders doesn't have to be a passport photo. You can smile. Don't need to do a drug dealer look. But no hats, no dark sunglasses, no trees, no pets, no babies, no other people, no buildings, no parrots. Just a nice, simple head and shoulders shot taken against a nice clear background. No problem. Can be professionally done.
Takes ones.
Nice photo. This is the photo that goes in your profile statement. It's not the photo that goes in your campaigning. You can do whatever you like with your campaigning photo. You can Photoshop it up the wazoo if you want. Just your profile statement photo. We check to see
Oh, you can
if it
smile.
is in the last 12 months. I've got an IT man who will delve into the metadata of the photo if we think it's not too accurate. Any questions about that?
Yes.
Sure.
Those two look like passport photos, first of all. Second, can you have background or no?
You can have a background, remember colour, so it'll show, but I wouldn't have a background that's too vibrant, but still cool.
And does it have to be that close?
Sorry?
Does it have to be that close?
Just head and shoulders.
I like the first two, that sort of aspect.
Close-ish.
Close enough. Anybody know who the second photo is? It's Jack Marshall of Porous, who's the Deputy Election Officer. He put the slide together for me. Put an old photo, it was about 10 years old. Just as a laugh, so that we could all giggle about it when we saw it. So, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Harriet spotted it straight away.
I like the guy and his dog.
The guy and his dog?
Yeah.
No, the guy and his dog, yeah.
Yeah.
So we would crop that out.
Who's standing, the dog or the man?
If he's got a dog like that, he must be nice.
Maybe. High res as you can get, obviously. Don't report off your Facebook page, 72 DPI. Send us that when we print it, you'll look like a fuzzy bear. You won't want that. In fact, I'll come back and say, give me another one. So that's what it looks like. Bear, an old photo. Lowercase first name, cap, surname, then the affiliation underneath it, proven dedicated real. Sounds like me. And then kick into this 2 sentences, if applicable, my principal place of residence is in the area or is not within, and I'm also standing for another election if I was standing for another. Then bang into your 150 words. Once the nomination's confirmed, nominations as they come in get entered into our nominations portal by Harriet. Once it's confirmed, you'll get an email with basically what that looks like. You get an email of the profile statement in the format that it's going to appear, showing you the name, affiliation, and those sentences and how it looks within reason. That's an opportunity for you to check the details that they're all correct. Got your name spelled right, got the right photo, we haven't stuffed anything up. It's not an opportunity for you to rehash your profile statement. We haven't done this before, it's the first time we're doing this election. New function to allow you to check to see that we've got it right. Because what I don't want is to send out a profile book on the 9th of September and find there's something wrong with your details. So you've got a chance to check that, but not a chance to redo your profile.
What date did you say?
It'll be as your nomination's confirmed. So if you put it in early, you'll get it early. If you put it in the last minute, you'll get it last minute.
No, but you said the 9th of September.
9th of September is when voting opens.
Okay.
Council's profile statements will go up on Council's website once they've been signed off for printing a couple of weeks after the close of nominations. At the same time, once you get that email, almost at the same time, Council's webpage will be updated with a list of candidates at that point on the fly. So at any given time, the Council website will have a list of who is standing in each election, candidate's name, affiliation, mobile, email, not physical address. So during the nomination period, towards the end of it, you can see who else has already put their nomination in, so they'll be updated on the fly. Candidate videos. Council was doing candidate videos this time. There's a new thing. Challenge the council did it last year. Worth looking, go to their website and check out the videos from last time. They're already there, still there. 3 or 4 set questions that you'll have in advance. As soon as nominations close, Harriet will email you with the details of how to book a slot. Be done here. Bella?
So they'll be done at Harlequin Theatre and they'll be done 14th, 15th, 16th of August. So yeah, you'll be sent a booking option, but it'll be first come, first served. So if you know you need a particular time, we'd encourage you to book it right away. And so it'll be over those 3 days. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you can't make those dates for any reason, then we have an agreement with Southway who are doing the same thing where we might swap a few slots. So if you really can't, then we can talk to them about putting you in, but it would mean going down to the Anzac Hall. And they'll be shot by Phil Stepping, who some of you might know. He's a really great guy. We'll be using a teleprompter. So we'll ask you to just think about your answers beforehand, submit them, make sure that you've practiced reading them out loud, and then when we're in the room, it's half an hour, and you get 3 attempts at each question, and then we move on and we use your best take. So you'll get a big email with all of the briefing stuff about it. Yeah.
Excellent, thanks, Bella. So the reason for that is, same sound, same lighting, same environment, same, level playing field. Same 3 or 4 questions. The question will be generic, like, why are you standing? What do you bring to the table? What are you going to focus on the next 3 years? That sort of generic stuff. Optional, don't have to do it. Total, I had 76 candidates, 66 did their videos. Once they were up on Council's website, 6 of the other candidates came back and said, they're better than I thought, can I do mine, please? Sure.
Bella, this might be a point to actually just ask you. I looked online a couple of weeks ago and you were doing an interview with somebody, but the whole time it was on you and it wasn't on the person that was being interviewed.
Yes, unfortunately,
It's extremely frustrating.
it was frustrating for us as well. It was a technical difficulty with Arrow FM, and whoever had been in the recording studio before us had mucked around with the cameras, and we didn't know about it.
Oh,
until
so it
was
wasn't
done.
me missing something, because I
No.
thought, where's the person? Where's the talent?
No, so the camera was meant to be turning around and looking at Lynn, but it didn't.
Yeah, and it just profiled you, basically.
Yes, I'm quite. So it was fixed by the time we talked to Brent the following fortnight. So yeah, it won't be like that going
Oh,
forward.
that's good.
And then there will be a couple more, I guess, episodes of that coming out over the next month or so. We'll be talking to Harriet and Robin Blue as well, going back over a lot of this information, so you can see it on our YouTube
And
channel.
the potential was good. It was just that I could see there was production problems.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So no, someone had taken a crucial pin out of a crucial place, and it had gone. So no, that's a bit
Thank you.
now.
Thank you for
There
that
you go.
clarification.
Bella, when are the South Warrappa, what dates are the South Warrappa ones?
It will also be that kind of early to mid-August. I think they have a few more dates, and then around probably the 9th, 10th, 11th, I think. And we're giving Phil like a day off to collect himself, and then
Another
doing ours. And I think they might have booked another wash-up date, maybe on the last.
Carter's doing them as well?
No,
No.
not as far as I know.
They are doing videos.
Okay, they might be doing them in-house. But, yeah. No, so we'll be working with them to swap spots. So you'll be against a green screen, so it'll be,
So the questions will be captioned and the answers will be subtitled.
yeah.
Great. Thanks, Bella. A few slides on campaigning. Not where I'm supposed to be, but some notes. Remember, you can't use council's logo, colours, branding in your campaigning. I'll get a bit grumpy if you start using my orange bin or orange as a colour. Or in front of the town hall with the council's name in the background. Can't use council taken photos. As an elected member, current one, you can't use a photo the council has got on their website for your campaigning. No campaigning in the council chambers. Can't rock up to a council meeting wearing a Vote For Me t-shirt. Or have your mates sitting in the back of the gallery holding up a Vote For Me sign. Every piece of campaign material has to have that little authorisation statement on it. Authorised by candidate or their agent, contact method, mobile, email, web address, not physical address. Every piece of campaign material,
Including online material.
Yeah.
including online,
So if you
Facebook page.
have a
So
Facebook page, you have to say authorised,
Yeah.
and you can self-authorise, right?
Yeah.
You can self-authorise by me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
just on the about section or the top or the bottom of the page. Doesn't have to be on every email you send. Doesn't have to be on a post you send. As long as it's on the platform, on the website, car, poster, flyers, badges. If you have a badge, have a little ribbon. Remember, legislation doesn't say how big or small it can be. You can have a little sticky label on the size of a billboard in the corner, or a little skinny writing down the side. Okay? Just as long as it's there and we can see it. On the front of the sign, not the back. Remember that the cost of the wood that holds up your sign is not an election expense. Or rather, screws that hold the sign to the wood. Not an election expense. The cost of the sign is. Please don't tell too many porkies in your campaign ads. If you do, someone could complain to the Advertising Standards Authority, and they will check it out, and and they will come back to you and get you to change it if it is factually incorrect. Good example at the moment, I've got someone who's under this process in Taupo. You probably know that Taupo's got this fancy new sculpture of a dinosaur that's cost $100,000. Some guy in his campaigning has said that it's $200,000. Someone's taken it to ASA. It's not, it's $100,000. Don't make them change it. Any questions about that? Social media. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I did have a question about that. Campaigning, if, for example, someone is using someone else's online page to promote themselves or their ideas, and they're standing for council, is that considered something that should have this message is authorised by XXX on it? Second question, if someone is going on to someone else's page and spilling untruths for that campaign, is that considered advertising and could get sent to the Advertising Standards Authority if it is incorrect, asking for it to be corrected?
Probably not.
Okay. So you can say what you like.
Pretty much. Unless it's defamation, in which case you can take legal action. What was the first question? Someone else. So a third party can promote a candidate however they like.
Yep.
Does not have to be authorised. As long as it's not part of the candidate's campaign. So if the candidate doesn't know about it, it's completely arm's length, and it's a friend, it's not part of the campaign, doesn't have to be authorised.
Okay. But if
Because the reason for the authorisation...
to promote their message, then that is considered part of their campaign?
Sorry,
If they themselves are using someone else's platform to promote themselves, that is considered campaigning?
Yep.
So it has to have the rules of campaigning
Yep.
then sit within that thing.
So-
Good to know, thank you.
So the key question here is, what is campaigning? Campaigning is a call to action, not just profile raising. When there's a call to action, vote for me because I'm so great, vote for me. That is campaigning.
Well, thank you for the clarification.
Okay? Good questions.
Yeah, the thing saying cars there, that's just the stickers on the car rather than the cost of driving the car around the
So,
election and stuff.
yeah. So the
Just need clarification.
so the car can be sign written. It's got to have an authorisation on it. If it's a vote for me sign.
And it's cost in your electoral
The cost of the sign writing is expense. The running costs of the car, if it's your personal car, not. But to follow on from that, if you had your car sign written a couple of weeks ago and you were driving it for 4 months, 3 months in the election period, 11 July, 11 October, 3 months, 4 months, 75%, 75% of the cost of the sign writing is an election expense, not the whole lot.
It's only in the campaign.
We'll come to this a couple of slides in a minute.
Jump in the car.
Jumping ahead, but we'll cover this off. So just before we do the social media thing, sorry. Remember, council social media channel is council social media channel. Candidates can't use it for their campaign, which is why you can't come to a council meeting, you vote for me t-shirt, live stream to council's audience, not your audience. Any campaigning messages, comments on council's feeds, posts, and be zapped. Someone continue to do it, they'll be blocked. Many of my councils are now going to stop comments on all posts from 11 July. I don't know whether you guys are doing that, but
We do that generally, and we use social media a little bit differently here. But interestingly, last election, we had absolutely none of that behaviour happening in our social media channels. Everyone was very well back. They kept very much their campaigns to their spaces. Everyone was very
they
receptive.
must have come to the candidate briefing now. They heard my message.
They heard you loud
Excellent.
and clear, Warren.
Excellent. All right. Remember, council will defriend, unfriend, unlike, do all that stuff for candidates during the campaign period, including incumbents. Social media posts, you can take council's posts and send them out to your audience with the campaigning message, no problem. Just can't do anything that goes back to council's feed. Can't rate, review, check, tag, share, like, that then appears on council's feed. Council's social media audience, not your social media audience. But you can send it out as much as you like, with whatever you want. Remember, it is against the legislation to take a photo of your completed voting paper, put it on the internet. You can take a snib of your name with a circle and a tick in it, post that. There's nothing else. You can't show other candidates with a circle without a tick. Just yours. Show you what it looks like. Sure. Signs. My most favourite topic. I'll leave this given Harriet to deal with. Every council's got a hoardings policy. Make sure you get yourself familiar with it. Our signs go up 3 months out. Southwise is 8 weeks. Carterton is 2 months. You're standing for the regional council, you've got to abide by all the policies, all the hoardings policies in each place. They're different. We've got 47 councils. Some are 3, some are 2, some are 6 weeks, some are 9 weeks. Some are down the day before, some are down the day after, some are down a week later. They're all different. I wish someone would standardise them, but they aren't. Kotahi, though, have got rules for their state highways. You have to abide by them. They will take your sign down if you don't. Private land, only for the 3 months. Make sure you're familiar with all of it. And if you do have problems with signs, don't complain to me. Talk to these guys. Man.
Just as well, if you are thinking of putting up signs, there are minimum setbacks for some areas. That information does appear, I think, in the Harriet, in the...
Yes, there are locations on council land around town, and they're all in the back of the handbook.
Yeah, so please be aware if you are putting up a sign of that minimum setback and setback behind that. We have had to disappoint some nominees who thought they had prime position on a site and asked them to move their sign, and all of their competitors have got all the best positions behind the line, and then they've had to move their sign. We will enforce that. It's a traffic safety measure. So please be very aware of those minimum setbacks for any signs that you put up.
Have you got specific areas that you can put signs up? No. No.
Yeah.
You do? Yep. Did someone go out with their spray paint from the council and put where you can put them?
They do. Yeah.
Yep. Great. Okay.
Last year,
Right.
guys have put little LED lights
You guys are onto it. Excellent. Oh, sorry. Don't too fast. Donations. Quick chat about donations and expenses. Haven't got too far to go. You've got to record your donations for your campaign. Every donation. Over $300, even if it was a year ago. And if you know who it's from, or you can reasonably work it out, you've got to put it in your expenses return. Can't be anonymous if you know who it's from. Someone can't give you $500 and go, this is for your campaign, but I don't want anyone to know I am. Can't. You have to declare them. Can you get an anonymous donation? Hardly. But if it is completely and utterly anonymous, yes, you can record that, but it has to be less than $1,500. It's more than $1,500, you've got to give it to the council.
What do they do with it?
Goes into the consolidated fund.
Off my rates.
Tea and bickies for the council staff the day after the election, I don't know. And there's the maximum amounts you can spend on your campaign. Maximum including GST, based on the population of those areas. And if you're standing for 2, it's the higher limit. The same limit, the 1 limit.
Can't combine them.
Can't combine them. Can't combine them. No. Based on the population. talking about before about cars and the pro-rating thing, 11 July, 11 October. You could put the full-page ad and worry about Times Age on the 10th of July, outside the 3 months, not part of your election expenses. Daily paper, next day, there's another paper. Previous day's paper, Converse. You put it in a magazine that's out for a month, you have to record that cost if the month goes into period. So it's not about when you pay for your campaigning item, it's about when is it used. When is the activity happen? You pay for your signs now, put them up 3 months out. Code in this case 2 months out. Okay? It's the full cost of that because it's inside that 3 months period. Remember, the expense and donations return public document goes to Council's website for 7 years. You can go there now and look at previous ones. Not my job to check what's in your expense return. I don't want to worry about it. I don't want the receipts. Just want to see the signed return. Once you do that, get your $200 deposit back if you get more than 25% of the votes of the lowest successful candidate in your election. You about that? Few offences, be careful of these. Treating, bribery, undue influence. You can't go to a cafe with your friends and say, shout you this coffee if you vote for me. You can shout them coffee, you just can't say if you vote for me. That's treating. You can't give away a pen or a fridge magnet or something that is of value that can be used for another purpose. Against the legislation. And undue influence is someone standing over your shoulder while you've got your pen in your hot little hand about to mark the voting paper and they go, put a tick in that box. That's undue influence in the act of voting. Happy with that? Yeah, this example of a good sign. All good with that? Put the authorisation on it, although that's got physical address that you don't need anymore. And the one on the right, you can't, because it shows other people and is like an imitation voting paper. Had people do this before, off to the police, prosecute. Please do not go there. Me and Michael. Everybody know where this is? Horrifina. So Michael was standing again for the mayor. He had a council car park designated under the council building. Chose to park his car in the council car park right next to the front door of the council. Council car park, council resource. No, Michael, you can't put it there. Made him move it. Council resource. Can't be used for campaign. It was authorised. Just parked it down the street. Yeah.
Sorry, can I just clarify that? Because council owns car parks around the district.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the car park directly outside the council building.
Yep.
Any other council-owned car park, you can park your own car.
Yep.
It's not every car park, is it? It's just right by.
Correct.
Does that include Queen Street?
You can park on Queen Street, that's fine.
Correct. Got to be practical about it, but going to that extent, going too far. My beloved orange bins, orange voting bins. Harriet, how many have you got, did you say?
About 9, have we done?
I think, yeah, between 9 and 11, depending on what the coastal communities decide to do.
Whereabouts have you got them?
Supermarkets, the warehouse,
Mitre 10?
Mitre 10, the Bulls, White House, Customer Service Centre, the library. Yeah, and we'll potentially at Riversdale and Castle Point, but we'll be making a map
Great.
with the locations.
So it'll be on Council's website, advertised widely. There'll be a page in the candidate profile booklet saying who they are. Council will do a truckload of comms very keen for you to put all your votes back into one of these, as opposed to the postal ballot. During the City Council election last time, we had 85% of the votes came through the orange bits. 33% of that came through the big 6 supermarkets of Tauranga. If people go into your normal business, that's where we want you to pop your voting paper. Keen for you to encourage all of your friends to do that. No problems with you taking the list and sending it out to all your friends. Orange bins are the way to go. As I said right at the beginning, the electoral roll provided by the Electoral Commission. It's the only thing they do. Prelim roll out next week. Final roll after the 1st of August, which we use to send voting papers to. So if you change your address, you haven't changed on the electoral roll, best you do so quickly, because otherwise the voting paper will be sent to your old address. So if you've got people that are in that boat, please encourage them to change it. It can be done easily. You can do it online at vote.nz. It's simple to do. But to get the voting paper, make sure you do. If you don't, then you have to do a special vote. Come to the council office, see Harriet, she'll sort all this out. Doesn't take very long, only a couple of minutes. During the voting period, not before, during only. If you've lost it or you haven't got it, or the dog's eaten it, or you're on the unpublished roll, come and do a special vote. Can post them out to you, but using the postal network not so good these days.
When does the rolls close?
Roll closes the same day as close nominations, Friday the 1st of August.
But it said on the previous slide, if you wanted to get a roll, you can pay $50.
Yeah.
But is it not up to date?
Yeah, good question. You could get a copy of the prelim roll now, preliminary roll,
Yeah.
which is, it's up to date as of now, yesterday. But there'll be changes between now and 1st of August. Not that many, but there'll be changes. But only hard copy we can sell it to, not electronic, against the legislation. And it shows name and postal address. It doesn't show qualifying address, it shows postal address. For a fee. Come election day, we'll hit the button, calculate the results, send it to the council, and I'll announce it mid-afternoon on Saturday, which will be all the votes included up until the Friday evening. Won't include Friday evening and the Saturday morning's votes in the orange bins, which we'll get later on Saturday evening, process on the Sunday, produce the preliminary results Sunday afternoon. It won't include specials, and then produce the final result with the specials later on in the week. Probably the Thursday, maybe the Wednesday. Then after that, as Kim talked about before, Council's extensive induction process. But before that, Council's inaugural meeting on, what was the date, 29th? Formal ceremony, friends and whānau, big deal. You're into that, big time. A really good occasion to kick things off, do the oath of allegiance, and then away you go. Just about finished. These are the documents that you can get. Fantastic candidate handbook. Please read this. It goes through the things that I've talked about tonight in much more detail. But you need to do that. I know this presentation, all this stuff sounds a bit compliancy. It's a bit, things you have to do, but it is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. It really is our job to make it as easy as possible for you to become candidates. So all you can do is ask if you've got any questions. And about your nominations, we can help you get it all sorted. Provided you get it done early and don't leave until the last minute. don't be put off by all the things that I say you have to do. It's not that bad, but it is part of the process, unfortunately. Last slide. We're happy about that. No online voting yet. I've been saying this for 20 years. One day, Roger Finch, one day. Might happen. But my lovely voting bins are the way to go. Get your nominations in early. As Matt said, stick to your own campaigns, your own promotions, and everything will be tickety-boo. Keep yourself safe. Remember all that safety stuff. And election day, 11th October. Good luck. So that's all the things that I really want to talk about. Happy to chat about anything you like.
I've been promoting Māori ward to groups that I attend. Am I still allowed to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But I'm not allowed to tell them what to vote.
As a candidate, you mean?
Yeah.
You can tell them whatever you like. As an individual, you can tell them whatever you like. It's just the council can't say, we've got a Māori ward and you should vote yes. Council can't do a vote yes campaign. Candidate, do whatever you like. You can push it as much as you want. No restrictions. Okay. Anything else you want to know?
Where'd you get your shoes?
These shoes are from a store called Mayer, M-A-H-E-R in Lambton Key.
Oh, and where is
New
it?
Zealand designer, a guy who lives in Dean, he's got a store in the country. Well worth a look. That's an interesting day when the returning officer's giving you fashion advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is, yes. Hard to find, pretty snazzy though.
M-A-Y-A-E.
M-A-H-E-R.
M-A-H-E-R. Mayor. Okay. Thank you.
Look up on the website, you can get them online. There's truckloads of different. Thanks, Bex.
Thank you.
No worries.
It's good that they're New Zealand made.
Yeah, New Zealand. New Zealand design. Very cool. All right.
Thanks, Warwick.
All right. Thank you for coming on. Come here. Anything else you want to say?
If anyone would like an email once the pre-election report's out, there's a piece of paper there. If you want to write down your emails, I'll email you and let you know.
Potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some,